Zeon Soldiers. We will now view the recorded footage of our comrades, the Red Wolf Squad. Do not miss the sight of the heroes who fought against the despicable Earth Federation forces who oppressed and exploited the space immigrants. So, the latest promotional video for Gundam Requiem for Vengeance has been released. The release schedule for the story was also announced. It will be available on Netflix from October 17, 2024. What kind of story will unfold? Let's analyze the content of the promotional video. For the true independence of the Spaceoids. Rise up, people! Seek Zeon! The Zeon Army attack carrier Go is flying through heavy anti-aircraft fire. The enemy is probably Earth Federation forces. When thinking of battles against the large forces of the Earth Federation, many may recall the Earth Federation headquarters Jabuo assault operation. Requiem for Vengeance takes place on the European front. Therefore, it takes place somewhere in Europe, not in Jabuo. However, it's possible that the Battle of Jabuo could be depicted as part of the story's progression. Many new mobile suits appear in Jabuo. To surprise and excite viewers, a brief depiction of Jabuo's attack could be included. The promotional video mentions the war has been going on for 11 months. The Jabuo raid took place on November 30. In fact, this corresponds to the 11 months mark since the beginning of the war. After losing the Jabuo attack, the Zeon Army began retreating into space, having lost its foothold on Earth. Red Wolf Squadron Captain and protagonist Solari begins a descent in Azoku. The scene cuts to the Zeon Army raising their flag on an Earth structure. In the next scene, Zeon Soldiers storm a building with the Earth Federation flag. Let's look at the dialogue. The Principality of Zeon, we have come to take Earth. The Earth Federation will use all means to drive us out. In the middle of the screen it says a battle for the independence of the space dwellers, Spaceoids. What does the Zeon Army mean to Earth Federation forces? Immediately after the war began, the Zeon Army massacred uncooperative Spaceoids with poison gas and nuclear weapons. They even dropped their own space colonies on Earth. In about a week from the start of the war, over 5 million lives were lost. Some Earth Federation soldiers viewed the Zeon Army as heartless invaders from space. Many believe that any means are justified to drive the Zeon Army from Earth. In Zeta Gundam, the Titans, an organization within the Earth Federation forces, also massacred politically rebellious Spaceoids with poison gas. Perhaps in Requiem for Vengeance, we will see Zeon Soldiers driven by hatred after losing many comrades to the Earth Federation's brutal attacks. This is consistent with the title. The scene changes. A Zeon commander is speaking to his soldiers. The one who has achieved particularly significant results is. A soldier interrupts with a cheer. Red Wolf. The name of the unit Solari commands is shouted and the soldier raises his arm. While the soldiers cheer, Solari remains very calm. His expression could be interpreted as sadness at being praised for his war achievements. Since Solari is the protagonist, he is not portrayed as someone who simply enjoys his military successes. In November, the Zeon Army is at a disadvantage against the Earth Federation forces. How does she feel about her teammates who had their disadvantages? The scene changes. A building explodes and Solari's line is heard. Our mission is to defend the base. The center of the screen reads 11 months into the war. The building where the Zeon Soldier raised the flag earlier is now burning. In the foreground, a soldier without a weapon is walking. He is walking unsteadily, with his arms awkwardly outstretched. He may be panicking from a sudden enemy attack. There is an explosion inside the building. It's not an explosion caused by shelling or missiles. Perhaps as Federation forces deliberately allowed Zeon forces to occupy a building rigged with bombs or booby traps. This is consistent with the earlier line. The Earth Federation will use any means necessary. So Laurie's line continues. Revenge is not the goal. There must have been events that filled his comrades with hatred and a desire for revenge. The scene changes again, showing a Gundam in the distance. The newest weapon of the Earth Federation forces and the devil to the Zeon army. In the middle of the screen, it says the White Devil appears. So Laurie says, could it be? The scene changes. It looks like Solari is driving some kind of vehicle. Is it a Zaku or perhaps a military vehicle? Solari is not wearing a helmet. The battle seems to have started suddenly. Solari shouts, Delta, get out of here! This is probably directed at the fellow Red Wolf Squad member. A Gundam jumps and delivers a kick. The kick hits the Zaku's arm. The Zaku pilot struggles with the strong impact. He is probably the one with the call sign Delta. He is also not wearing a helmet. The Gundam tries to rip off the Zaku's heat piece. As the Gundam shows off its terrifying fighting abilities, Solari's line is heard. We can even scratch its armor. It's equipped with a beam weapon that can destroy a Zaku in one hit. That's a Gundam. A male voice speaks. I've heard rumors about it. Unbelievable. Then another female voice is heard. The new weapon of the Earth Federation. It could change the course of the war. The woman speaking this line could be the person holding the weapon on the screen. She has tattoos all over her body. On her neck is the emblem of the Principality of Zeon. On her shoulder is a red Zaku head. Solari's Zaku has a red shoulder with the head and torso painted brown and black. It doesn't seem to be Solari's Zaku. When fans see a red Zaku, they think of Chao Aznavour. Chao is a heroic ace pilot for the Principality of Zeon. You may have a strong respect or admiration for Chao. The scene changes and the Gundam appears again. Next to the Gundam, another mobile suit appears. It's the GM, a mass-produced model based on the Gundam. The face of the GM has a visor. However, the camera-like part inside the visor moves, making it look like the Mondo Eye of a Zaku. The Gundam and the GM start their attack. Then a line from what seems to be Solari is heard. If you encounter the Gundam, you'll definitely wish you had a Zaku. Solari's Zaku has something like tank trucks on its armor. They may be using scrap metal to try to improve its defenses, if only a little. The GM looks down at the Zeon Soldier. The next moment, he destroys a military vehicle with a beam weapon. Megaparticles scatter from the impact. In the Universal Century world, beam weapons fire high-temperature particles. The high-temperature particles, after a beam weapon hit, are also a terrifying threat to humans. The soldiers run frantically. A Zaku attacks the GM. In the background of the battle, a line is heard from what appears to be Solari. Doctor, the Earth Federation soldier, whose life you saved is killing my comrades. The Zaku wields a heat hawk. The GM's arm is destroyed. Perhaps after this battle, a neutral doctor will treat the injured GM pilot. The Gundam appears and starts firing its beam rifle. This scene also shows the scattering of mega particles. It emits a very bright light. Maybe it's an early prototype with insufficient mechanisms to focus the mega particles. The Zaku's shield is destroyed. This Zaku also has round pieces added to its armor. Are they using scrap metal? Solari's Zaku appears. It fires a rocket-like weapon mounted on its arm. The rocket hits the ground near the feet of the Gundam. Instead of trying to attack the heavily armored Gundam directly, the goal seems to be to throw it off balance. The Gundam retreats through the flames. The scene changes to show a young man. No matter who it is, I will save them. That includes you, of course. This could be the Dr. Solari complained about earlier. A female Zeon soldier watches the young man silently after hearing his words. A Zeon commander raises a cup and speaks. We are done. As the commander speaks, our Federation tanks begin firing. One shell hits the shield of a Zaku tank. The Zaku tank is undamaged. The attacking tanks are Type 61 tanks, the Earth Federation's main ground force weapon, before the development of beam weapons. This scene shows how powerless these tanks are against the Zeon mobile suits. In stark contrast to the destructive power of the Gundam's beam rifle, isn't it? The scene changes and the Type 61 tanks begin more shelling. The Zeon forces may be surrounded. A Zeon vehicle is overturned by the Type 61 tank attack. In the background of the battle, a man's voice is heard. Let's go back to our home. He points to the sky as he speaks. For the Zeon forces, home is space. Having suffered great losses from the Earth Federation's counterattacks, they now wish to return to space. Solari speaks. Humans who have ventured into space awaken abilities they have never used before. They evolve into a race that can understand each other without misunderstanding. This refers to the Newtype concept from the original Gundam. As Solari talks about evolving into a race that can understand each other, a Gulf destroys a gun tank. This scene contrasts with Solari's words and is in keeping with the Gundam series theme of nudies being used as tools of war. The Gulf in this scene is the Gulf custom that appears in the Ani-Zero XMS team. It fights a gun tank, which resembles the ground assault type gun tank from the MS Igloo series. The weapons on the arms, the Earth Federation emblem and the hatch design are the same. However, the design of the lower body is different. It resembles the REQUIEM gun tank, which was developed around the same time as the Gundam. The ground assault type gun tank was an emergency retrofit of an older weapon to resemble a mobile suit. It's interesting to see it with a lower body similar to the REQUIEM, which was developed as part of the official mobile suit development program. Despite the gun tank's fire, the Gulf dodges it with a slide and destroys it with close-range Gatling gun fire. Compared to the Zaku, the Gulf excels in melee combat. Although they look similar, the Gulf has significantly improved performance, which is demonstrated in the scene. The scene changes to a Zaku destroying the same weapon as the gun tank seen earlier. Solari is in the cockpit, with bandages wrapped around her head. She says nudies are not magic. Perhaps Solari's comrades in the Zeon army, seeing her impressive feats, mistakenly think she's a nudie and praise her excessively. It's common for soldiers in dire straits to cling to such legends. Solari continues, you can understand, right? She cuts through the Guntank's shells with her Zaku's heat hog. While she denies that nudies are magical, the Zaku's act of cutting shells with an axe seems almost magical. Solari addresses her fellow soldiers. We have a duty. I will stop the Gundam. The promo ends with a shot of a damaged Gundam's head. This promotional video was packed with fascinating information. Personally, I'm really excited to see the Golf Custom in action. I'm very interested to see how they are going to represent the heat saber of the Golf Custom. In the Zero XMS team, the heat saber was used without being heated to a red-hot state. Gunpla lore explains that even without heating, it can use its weight to attack the enemy. Among fans, it is often said that Pilot Norris didn't heat the saber to save energy. We may get to see the Golf Custom using his saber in a red-hot state. And I was also surprised to see a weapon similar to the ground assault type gun tank. MSA Crew was created shortly after computer graphics technology became available. But even now it remains a work of excellent quality. Requiem for Vengeance will use even more advanced computer graphics technology. I'm really looking forward to elements that connect with past works. And is Solari a new type? Solari fights to support the Zeon forces as they desperately retreat to their home world. She may be treated as a nudie to give hope to her comrades. I'm looking forward to the release on October 17th. Thank you for watching until the end. See you next time.